Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
What's up? What's up, friends? Welcome back to the TV Terminal. And my name is Adam Vale, senior editor over at Koalition.com.
My name is Lawrence, aka A Punk with Toys, on all those wonderful social medias that we can't get our face out of.
Too many. You know, if you think about it, even YouTube, this is a social media, really. When you start doing the comments and talking to everybody.
YouTube is very social media.
Yeah. I hate when people are like, no, it's just for videos and watching. I was like, then you're not really interacting with it. I guess because, we're creating content. We have that.
I mean,
but
I don't know. I mean, I've made more friends from YouTube than I have in my entire adult life in the past 3 to 4 years. So I mean, I'm sorry. It
very much is. Yep.
Now, but, I guess if you only do YouTube and you don't have any, and I have a couple buddies that, I have to have their real phone number to contact them because they may create contact or they found me on YouTube. But yeah, I'm sorry. It's social media.
It is. And I like it. That's what same thing. It's like if people comment, I talk to them, we go back and forth. It just makes more sense in this way. So
yeah,
I just prefer it. But anyway, here we go, people. This is episode 2 of Dexter Resurrection, Camera Shy. And interesting because I don't know if this is a thing. Did you know anything about this whole hoodie that doesn't get picked up in cameras? Is that a real thing? Do you know this?
I don't know. I mean, I do know that, fixing copiers, some of the older photo sensors, you could pick them up by putting your camera over it and you could see if they're actually working. Same with like a remote control, like the old remote controls, you would hit the button and if you're looking at it through a light or like through your phone, you could see it flash. So in theory, it makes complete sense that those lights are shining and they're like an optical light. So we can't see it, but since it's going, it's reflecting off the face and it's blocking the face. Yeah. Anything that would be inside that hoodie. So it does make sense. I mean, it's not some crazy,
it's
an
like,
1980s G.I. Joe cartoon that it's like
one of those deep dive CSIs. Yeah. Oh, this is some tech that we just got right now and it's not available. And it's like, what? You just figured this out? But that comes up later on. But that's also the name of this episode, and that's where it comes from. I thought it was going to be something very obvious. It was like, oh, please, no cameras. Dexter's trying to keep a low profile.
I think that they, when you think about it, they throw a swerve, and we'll get to this. Obviously, hopefully you've watched the episode because we shouldn't be spoiling anything for you.
Yeah, thanks for that little segue right there. I had some messages, people saying, what's going on? Is it all out? I don't see it. This is what's happening, people. Because if you have Paramount Premium, if you have the premium, then you have access to these 2 episodes, which was yesterday, Friday. We're recording this on Saturday. But if you do not, and you just have Showtime proper on your services, just do Showtime or cable, whatever, they both premiere on Sunday. So that's what's going on. So yes, we did our first episode Friday. We're recording this Saturday. So then that way everyone's on the same page come Sunday. Some outlets didn't do that. They did both squished together. We don't do that. We like to keep things separate just in case, like us, you don't have time to sit and dedicate 2 straight hours. You got other things going on in your life. So we split this up, and but
then
anyway.
The question is, if the embargo is lifted at what 1 a.m. on Friday morning. All right, so that is Thursday night going into Friday.
Yeah,
is that when we're going to drop this episode, or are we going to wait?
We are going to follow embargo, right? So we will go with that. We will be dropping this 1 a.m. Eastern. So going forward, next episode 3, expect that in your feed. Thanks for the follow and the subs and all that. But that's when you'll see it. That's what we're going to do. You don't have to watch it. If you're someone that has on the one, you can come back afterwards and see if your thoughts match up with ours of how we think this show is going, that type of thing. But we're going to follow through the embargo. So, but it's really confusing for the first 2 episodes because people did not know of this split.
Yeah. So yeah, let's just say that right now. Going forward, if you see this on a Friday and you don't have the Showtime app to get it, or what is it, Showtime?
It's Paramount Premium, right?
So Paramount Premium you need.
Yeah,
You may have watched it.
That was their new name for when it was Paramount Plus Showtime. Remember that was that whole thing when they combined Showtime with the Paramount Plus. Now it's Paramount Premium. So if you have that, then there you go. But if you don't, then you have to wait for Sunday, and that's the way it is going forward. It wasn't just for the first 2 episodes. I think this is how they're going to keep pushing it.
And we'll make sure that we say that at the beginning of every episode going forward on any show that we do. If we know that we can drop it early, but the majority of the people can't watch it for, let's say, 2 or 3 days, I don't want someone to watch it and be like, oh my gosh, you spoiled this for me. You know,
I had that happen with the other show that we're recording on this channel right here. We're covering Revival, that Josh and I cover. So it drops on Thursday on Sci-Fi Channel, but then Sunday on Peacock it airs the previous week's episode. It's always a week behind on Peacock. So there was a big episode that had CM Punk the wrestler show up. I sent out a message. I did a short. A lot of good feedback, and people like, I can't find this. Where is this? And I was like, you only have Peacock. If you had Sci-Fi, then you can watch it there, whether it's linked to your Hulu or cable or YouTube TV. But if not, then you would have to wait for the following week. So when the next episode is airing, that's when you'll see the previous, and then you could watch the CM Punk debut. So
I gotta say that it really does put us in a bad spot because you don't want people coming in spoiled. I mean, there's some people that don't care. They just like your personality. And you don't want people to forget and be like, hey, I totally forgot because you guys dropped it so early. So it might be something that we need to discuss on how we want to drop it. Ideally, you want right away because there are people. But I also can look at the numbers and say the numbers aren't really that good as of right now. But it may be because there's not that many people that have seen it. So I guess we'll know going in early next week if that is a big difference change for us. So.
Yeah, well, we'll figure it out. All right, so let's get into this. All right, it starts off with a creepy cab ride. Now, I want to keep saying Uber. We're not going to say Uber. It's your car, your car, right? Yeah, it's a ride there, but they're calling it your car.
Yeah, but they did refer to it as ride share, which I guess is the generic term. I don't use them.
A ride share.
Yeah, I have a car and I drive for a living. So I drive for a living. So when my kid says, "How come you never do DoorDash?" I'm like, "Because I have 2 working cars, and I'm not paying the extra."
There you go. But this starts off. Creepy guy gets into a cab. It's at night. He has a hoodie. Well, it's New York. Everybody wears hoodies. That's just how.
Did you think that it was more? Did you think that it was Dexter at first?
I did. I did because I was like, all right. Yeah, and what instantly changed for me was when he was talking about how he grew up in the city. And I was like, all right, well, we know that's not true for Dexter. So I was like, this isn't him. And he's not really looking. And then we can see the guy's name, Stanley, starts talking about him. It's like just asking him questions, where are you from? And he's like, well, what about you? Where are you from? He's like, I'm here. And then everything has changed. And he's talking real mysterious and just very creepy and just off-putting. That's all I could say. I know if I was driving and if I heard the way this guy was talking, I was, you know what? I'm going to keep this ride real short. I'm not going to start small talk. But he doesn't have much of a choice because the guy just keeps talking and just asking a lot of weird questions.
Well, the thing that we also find out, you're talking about the driver keeps asking the questions, correct?
Well, he sort of asked some of the questions, but then it was more of the driver. Remember, he was just talking about how everything has fallen apart. Things aren't the same. He's lost things. Talking all this craziness. And then eventually
we find out later on when Dexter is doing the ride share that there's been 7 murders.
Yeah.
So depending on if this was, I doubt this was murder number 1. I would assume this was murder number 7. So they're probably all on edge asking these questions, which we don't, and again, you don't put 2 and 2 together until later on in the episode.
Yeah. You're right. You know what? I didn't even put that together, that this would be number 7, which explains why he was asking all these questions from the creepy passenger over here.
Yeah.
The dark passenger.
And he doesn't, it's when he gets the message like, hey, where are you? That he's picked up the wrong person. So I don't know if you noticed that. Like,
I sort of noticed it, because then that's when the creepy guy just reacted quick.
Yeah,
because he's like, all right, I'm running out of time.
Yeah, he moves over, and then he.
What do you think? Piano wire? That's what I was thinking. Maybe like piano wire or something like that.
Piano wire.
And puts it on his throat, pulls him back, and he starts talking about, is anyone going to miss you? He shows him a picture of his kids. Was it one is 5, the other one is 9. It's like it's pretty sad.
Yeah. And so he basically says, you people ruin this town, or this city for us. Yeah. Again, this is a very stereotypical thing that we've seen in a lot of different TV shows. You people, again, they're trying to make it a race baiting thing. And I mean, I fully understand he's a serial killer. So, I mean, there's no reason to try and make.
They just have to have a reason. There's always going to be a reason. It's like, what, you just hate cabbies? I mean, that's not a good reason. So and then how crazy of a twist would that be? That he is a yellow cab driver, right? And those are the people that have the medallions. They don't like Uber drivers and all the rideshare services, because that cuts into the whole, they spend a lot of money on those medallions. I think some of them at the time were like $200,000 just to get that medallion for the cab. So how crazy would it be if that's what was really going on here? This is a cabbie who's taking out Uber drivers, so that way it's discouraging them from driving.
I mean, that's something I could have seen in some other TV shows. I mean, I think they've done that, like on. I want to say like CSI or
CSI New York did one.
Criminal Minds, like they've done stuff like that where. Yeah. But this is going to be a whole season. I think that we're going to see him.
Maybe as we keep going further in this, it almost seems like Dexter already found his target. So
but I think we'll talk about it. There's so much more. There's a lot built up in this. There's a lot that's built up in this. I think.
So right after that, we get this really cool train shot, and you pointed out in the first episode with a beating heart, how you saw that up on the clinic, right? And I'm like, oh man, here we go. Lawrence is losing his mind. He's tired. He's seeing things. But no, you're right, because we see it here.
Yeah, how it looked on that, it looked like it was the clinic was called the Beating Heart, but I knew it was the name of the episode. Again, if I didn't know the name of the episode, I probably wouldn't have thought anything. But then you noticed it on the train, so did I. Yeah. And then we see this little kid riding his bike, and he looks in this car, and there is the rideshare guy with his head on the armrest, which that's not where you put your head.
No. You like to keep the body and the head connected when you can. It's always possible. I mean, there was the detachable private part. There was a song. I don't want to have to go, but there was a song. I don't know if you remember that. Detachable me, and he had to find it. He was looking around through sheets and stuff, and he was like, "Man, it's cool having it because then I could store it away, but then I forget where I put it." It was an interesting song back in the 90s.
Wasn't that a Loreno Bobbitt?
Oh well, it was probably around that time. Maybe that was the inspiration for the song.
John Wayne Bobbitt, wasn't it? John Wayne Bobbitt.
Something.
I only remember because of John Wayne, and I'm sure my dad was very disappointed.
Your dad with the John Wayne.
My dad's a huge John Wayne fan, but not a John Wayne Bobbitt fan. I didn't know it was his name, right?
It's something Bobbitt. But the thing is that this kid's going to be traumatized now for seeing something like that. I hope he's getting counseling, because I know if I saw that,
it is a TV show. I don't think he matters.
Probably doesn't matter. We won't see him again.
Just like you're traumatized on Reacher swimming.
You keep bringing it up, and you keep doing the triggers, and then it throws me off from the notes, because now I just see this guy doing the butterfly, nonstop, no heavy breathing, going across this.
He might be doing the backstroke. He's taking his time.
Oh, see, you're gonna. Man, you know what? If we ever do get into interviews, because that's always a possibility, I would like to just have Alan Richter on, a Reacher. I keep messing up his last name, but Alan, I would like to have the actor on. I'm like, and just get his thoughts of that scene. When you read this script and you had to do this swim, what did you think? Did this make sense to you? Anyway, we're drifting too far.
He does play Aquaman in the pilot Aquaman show, right?
Yeah.
Or is he Aquaman in? Or is he Aquaman?
Well, he's not in the movies because we know that's Jason Momoa. So
no. For Smallville, he was either Aquaman in Smallville or the pilot. Oh. No, he was Aquaman in the show. Sorry, guys. I know you're like, God, can you just talk? He was Aquaman in Smallville, but the guy that played Green Arrow in Smallville played Aquaman in the pilot Aquaman show that never aired. Well, it never aired after that.
Okay, you just broke.
It was actually pretty good. It was actually a pretty good show. If you want to go back to
some
Smallville.
Deep cuts. Smallville. Well, people, I'm sure it's gaining traction now thanks to Superman the movie. It sounds like that movie's doing pretty well. So, but what's also going on here is we got Dexter still talking to his dad. Now we're used to this. We've watched Dexter, the OG, and everything is fine. But as we see here, he's doing this out in the open. Or even in some scenes, there was one in the train station and stuff like that. And I'm from New York, I've seen wackos talk to no one, and just ramble. But it's just crazy to see him do this now. And look, he turns his head. It's one thing to just talk, because then it's like, oh, he's just talking to himself. But he's looking to his left as if someone's there. Very Fight Club type of thing. It's like I'm waiting for him to hand something to Harry. Here, hold this, and it just drops.
But it's also how he's perceiving what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he's perceiving it, so he may not actually be doing it. It's just in his head how he sees himself talking to his.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on here, because it continues off of where we left off with Dexter in the car with his dad, checking out the hotel, and just telling his dad he's worried about him. He's like, should I go and talk to him? Of course, that's why we're here. I was like, yeah, but he thought he killed me. He'll be in shock. I'm like, it's a little bit too late to start thinking about all that. You already made the commitment. You came to New York. You're looking for your son. Too late.
And he's also there to cover up his tracks or make sure that he doesn't get caught. So, I mean, you go through a whole series. What is it? Seven seasons of Dexter.
I think there was even more.
Might have been more. So whatever. The whole he has no emotion. He has no connection. He gets married. The only love that he really has is for his sister, right? Like even the kids that he has or that he raises, like he cares for them, but he has absolutely he has no love for them. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't want anything to happen, and he would protect them, but he doesn't have like a fatherly love. Right, like, and I don't even think he had it for Harrison.
Yeah. There was eight seasons of the OG one.
So I think with Harris, like he didn't have, did he have the same?
Remember, he lost Harrison when he was very young. Harrison went with his girlfriend to Argentina. That was it. So it was a lot with new blood and him accepting the fact that he had this son and all that stuff, and it got deep. But the point now is that he wants to be there for his kid. He wants to help him out. He knows he's in a bad spot, so the only way he could help out is try to clean up this mess that his son has gotten involved in.
He does something. He's never done something like that. He saved that rideshare driver.
Oh yeah. We'll get into that.
Like, why would you do that? You've never tried to save somebody else. Even though like everything he's doing is trying to get these people off the streets.
Yeah. So he decides, you know what, I'm just going to go into the hotel and start doing his own investigation. So he sneaks in. He's.
Do we want to make complaints about this?
I mean, we could just say it's a big hotel, and no one, like you pointed out, for your job, you can walk into busy locations where no one pays any attention to someone just wandering around.
I don't walk into active crime scenes. Wouldn't you think there'd be an officer left there to?
Well,
you don't know who it is.
It was perfect timing, though. It's perfect timing because yes, he does. He gets into a hotel, but he doesn't know the room, so he's going floor to floor looking for crime tape. Crime tape, right? He's like, it feels weird to be on the other side of
Yeah.
this, right? He eventually finds it. Now, I wrote down 16 floors. I don't think it's on the 16th floor, but I think that's what
No,
we figured. How many levels for the
I thought
hotel?
he said there's 16 floors, and it ends up on like the 8th, I think, or
Somewhere
8th.
within there. It's
Yeah,
definitely up because we see him going up the stairwell,
yeah, but they
and
didn't do it where it's like the absolute last one, but
you know.
it is up there.
Yep. So he gets in, he takes a look around, he's trying to figure things out. He was like, okay, this is where everything happened. And Harry's it's a very big part, I think, in this entire show. He's like he was in the OG one, he would pop up here and there, but man, I feel like in every scene, Harry is right there with Dexter. They might as well be a buddy cop system going on
Yeah.
here, right? Because he's there. He pops up. He's like, all right, what are we looking for here? It's like, well, this is obviously where it happened, what's going on, but this is not where the kill happened here. This is where the fight. This is what's going on. Okay. And then while he's trying to put this all together, then to your point, we start hearing some stuff going on outside. It's the
Well,
manager.
but
Go
before
ahead.
that, first he's gone through everything. He sees a shower curtain. He realized that shower curtain is new, that it was, that it's been used. Everything is completely cleaned up.
Mhm.
So he's like, he's done it wonderful. Like there's nothing. Now
I gotta
this,
say on his first take too, because he didn't pull this off in New
yeah.
Blood for Harrison. So props to
So
him for remembering
he
all
does
this.
hear them coming in, and he hides. Now this is where what we heard in the last episode, where she puts the headset on, and he's like, she has a special way. This is where he should have said this to the manager of the hotel, because as he's listening to everything, she points out, hey, that the top of that toilet looks be in better shape. If you hear that noise, it's my son playing video games.
Nice,
If you
nice.
had
He's
a
going
weird
pro.
look,
He's going pro.
yeah, he ain't going pro. All right,
All right.
that would make him money. He wouldn't want to do that.
Hey.
He just wants to be a freeloader his whole life.
Oh, it's spoken like a true dad over here. It's like, ah, my boy, you let me down. Going down.
But she notices because they say something about there being like a ceramic dust in the guy's hair, and then she notices the
Because they were like, oh, it's from a vase. Somebody's like, she says, no, I don't know how she determined it has to come from something flat,
yeah,
something like from a toilet bowl lid.
probably
I was like,
because of how the damage to
yeah.
the cranium. I would assume that because it was not a blunt object or a sharp object, it's a blunt object. But then she also comments about he comments like, you already noticed the shower curtain. So Dexter's listening to all this in the closet, and he's realizing, he even says, his first kill, amazing, but he gets a detective that's extremely smart. This is where they should have hit, her partner should have been like, hey, she has a special set of skills, understanding, and not what we saw last episode.
Yeah,
But now
no,
we're seeing what he's
definitely.
talking about. Like she sees things that others don't see.
Yeah, she definitely pulled the Sherlock Holmes right here. Have you ever seen Sherlock? Did you ever watch that? The BBC
I did
with
not.
Doctor Strange, that
No.
actor, I think Cumberbatch. I think that's his name. Fantastic, but he has that where he's just seeing things and things are just popping up in different locations. And this is how it happened. How did you see it? He's like, what, you didn't notice? I noticed. I saw a little speck of dust on his sweater, and that speck of dust matched the type of dust that was floating in the air from the factory across the street, and it comes through the open window. See, that's why that window was open, and it
And
landed
that's
on the floor.
why that's how Psych was. I don't know if you ever watched Psych. It's a comedy, but his dad taught him to search for things. So in Psych, certain things would highlight, and they were the things that Sean was seeing. And that's how he tricked everyone that he was a psychic detective.
Oh,
Again, my
okay.
son loves that show, and I think it's an amazing show too. It's a lot of fun, but I digress. We'll be here all night.
Yeah. That show went on for a while. I do remember seeing.
Oh yeah, and then they've done I think 3 movies, and they're like, hey, we want to do a movie every couple years because they actually enjoy the show. And just like in this show, him and the the main female detective, they got together in real life and then broke up and still had to work.
Oh, really? You see? Well, I can understand that. They spend a lot of time together,
I
and whether they have those type of emotional scenes, I should say, sometimes they don't, and it's just spending that amount of time together on
but
set for months and
have
years.
you ever dated someone you've worked with?
No, but I have worked with people that have done that,
Mhm.
and it has not gone well. Because they're
Exactly.
like, "I need the space, I can't." It's like, "You know what? I'm put in a transfer." Why? Because I just can't do this.
Yeah,
We're
and when
too close, too close.
you split up, you usually figure out which one was more important to the company.
Oh, man. Oh, boy. There we
All right,
go.
we'll be all night.
Mhm, mhm. Alright, so what are we up to now? What's,
So Dexter, after they leave, he has to wait, and then he heads downstairs because he's trying to figure out where did he take them, and he sees that there's a camera, so he had to figure out how he got them. Now we all know what he did, right? He
mhm,
can't just
mhm,
be
mhm.
walking around with a dead body wrapped in a shower curtain.
I found it funny that he goes down to the kitchen. Same type of thing we saw with Harrison, but Harrison worked there, so it makes sense. Even though no one acknowledged him, no one's like, "Hey, buddy, I know," whatever. He's just there. They know he works there. But when Dexter walks in, no one says anything either.
And
It's
I said I fixed copiers for 24 years. I've walked through numerous kitchens and nobody says a word. Like no one says, "Hey, you don't work here." Um, and maybe because I have a backpack and I have my company's logo, but they have no idea. I mean, nothing I do is in the food industry. It's a copy machine, so no one ever says, "Hey, who are you? Why are you back here?" And I mean, I walk into a lot of places unless there's like security. No one really asks anything. There's
Mhm.
there's a YouTube channel or something. I forget Reels, and they said if you walk in with a ladder anywhere, they will let you in. And they went into like concerts. They just bring a ladder. They go into concerts. They go into all these things. Like no one would ask them because they just assumed you're doing service.
Oh, they're lucky. They're lucky because some areas, I don't know, it could bring things
Hey,
up.
at
But
49, I'm not going to try it.
no, 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 no.
At 18, 19, 20, oh,
Mhm,
I would
mhm,
have been a
mhm.
heartbeat.
Boy.
So,
All right. So let's see what. Mm-mm-mm. All
but
right.
yeah,
So yeah, he the whole walking around. Go ahead.
well, they do switch to Harrison, who heads the apartment to babysit, and he
So
keeps the dead guy.
yeah, so that was an interesting part because at first I was thinking, well, this confirmed what I suspected when we talked about the first episode that he is squatting at that hotel
Yeah,
because once he shows up at the coworker's apartment, it's like, all right, thanks. Remember you're babysitting Dante. I think he has asthma, all this other stuff. If you hear any wheezing, gives all the heads up and says thank you, and also I set everything up for you and she gives the room number.
and I like that. See, they explained how he's staying in a hotel room, so I'm assuming she must be a manager or have some sort of so she can go in and just say, "Hey, this room is occupied," whatever, right? So I'm glad they explained that rather than like, how do they not know? He obviously has a master key, or it just has a key and she activates that for whatever room. Actually, we saw that he has a master key, so I'm
Mhm.
glad that they didn't have to spend as much time as we're spending on it
Yeah, yeah,
explaining to people. But
but
yeah,
it's good.
and then we see Dexter. He's talking to his dad, and that's when he goes down to the kitchen. But first, what he does is he goes down to eat.
Yeah, well, because
I
he wants
have,
he wants I thought, all right, now at first I was like, well, maybe he's just hungry. But no, it's more like he's scoping out the whole location and
yeah,
seeing where people are going. And it just turns out that
I
one of those go ahead.
I have some
You have
issues.
concerns? You got issues? All right. What's the issues?
Well, you brought it up too. Okay, it's one thing
Oh
that
yeah.
he ordered 2 hamburgers, he's casing it out, whatever,
Mhm.
but then when the last employees leave, nobody says anything, and then he just goes back.
He couldn't have been there that long. That's the other thing. It's like he
Now,
wasn't there was
if
other
you
people
said
there.
and like, but everybody left. Now, there's 2 ways to look at this. Um, there are some hotels that don't have, like, a full kitchen, and it's kind of open. It might be easy to walk back there. But I can say where we were at for Joe Fest, that's an actual restaurant. Their doors are locked. But maybe I didn't go back through any of the doors. Maybe some of the doors aren't locked that will lead you back there. I just found it kind of odd, like everything was cleaned up. Normally, again, they don't leave the restaurant and be like, hey, there's still someone eating. Hey, the door will lock behind them. Like it does.
The only thing I could think of is that this was a separate room, even though it looks similar to the kitchen where we just saw all these people working. It's maybe an offshoot of that because he has to get to the back room, and the back room is where the kill happened. That was the kill room.
And as he walks in, he's noticing all this stuff. There's like the perfect kill room. Stainless steel tables, sharp objects, everything that he needs, garbage bags. But then he's like, is there anything left? And he notices on the ceiling that there's a spot of blood.
Yeah. Which we noticed, and the camera pointed that out in the last episode. And that's the other thing I noticed with this show. It's not really leaving too much up to the viewer to figure this out, but it's throwing it in your face real quick. And I was like, hey, so then that way you can remember. And it doesn't do a little flashback like, hey, remember this? No, you should have noticed it when they pointed it out.
Yeah.
That there was a blood splatter up on the ceiling on one of the tiles. And then we figured maybe the super cop over here would figure it out first, but no, Dexter.
But exactly. Now they don't realize how he's been taught to do this stuff. So this is a concern that I go, all right. So he gets up and he noticed a spot of blood. He gets up and cleans it. The only thing is that's a ceiling tile. And if anyone's ever dealt with ceiling tiles, you don't get a liquid on it. You can't wipe it off. It absorbs into it. It's literally, we've all looked up and saw ceiling tiles that have water damage to it. So that thing wasn't coming off. But they're trying to say that because the detective talks about, hey, it would have to be an oxidization cleaning to remove it.
I think we had the image here, right? Or is it coming up? I think it's coming up.
I think
it's a one with the knife, with Dexter with the knife. There was a few of them, but there's one because he does get into that location when he was looking around. It's like, this was definitely the room. This was definitely the room.
I gotta remember.
There we go.
I totally forget about this.
It's all right. I saw it at the bottom. Like I almost forgot too. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Don't worry, because you didn't change your the the scroll on the bottom. I just scroll on the bottom. It still says revival.
No. All right, I'll fix that.
Did you change that banner?
I have it. I have it. Keep going. There we go. All right.
Yeah. So while they were in here, I kind of forget. Okay. Yeah. So this is where he sees, he sees it and he goes up and cleans. And I think it's more for effect that they're showing, and they want to explain that a specific type of, cleaner can handle that. So, and again, I like what they're doing. That it's ingrained in his son. He knows how to do. He knows what to look for, and all that other stuff. So.
There we go. Fix like nothing happened. Chris Angel style. Mind freak. But oh man. But yeah. So he finds this room. He sees everything in the back. He cleans up. Well, he takes that towel. At first I thought he was going to take the towel or destroy it, but it would still point. It would point to, because like you said, it's like once the stain is up there, with the water damage and all that stuff. But then the other part of me was thinking, well, what if he flipped it on the other side? Now, not all the time it's the same on both sides. There's always something different, but just for the sake of hiding it, not making it so obvious. But he does know that Super Cop is on this case and it's gonna probably enter this room, because what she said, she's coming back with a warrant, because that was the other thing that she had mentioned to the manager, because she was like, we need this room closed off. He's like, this is making customers uneasy. He was like, she doesn't care. This is a crime scene. They have to figure things out.
And there's some stuff that comes back when they're back in the hotel in a minute. So then it switches to Angel, who's talking to the acting sheriff of the New York town, or
that upstate where the Iron Lake.
And he's really grilling him. And I'm telling you, like, now it only says Angel's in like 2 episodes, but like, I don't know what Angel.
You don't know his
What
motive.
Angel
You don't
thinks.
know what he's
Yeah.
getting at. Yeah, I don't know either. I thought
Does he believe that he's the harbor?
uh,
What
the
is it?
Bay
The Bay
Harbor
Harbor
Butcher.
Butcher, or is he really concerned about his friend? I don't remember him ever having like a huge connection with Dexter. Did he?
He did in some of the seasons. It was back and forth. It's
Yeah.
one of those
I
situations.
thought he know. I thought
Coworkers.
he always got annoyed with Dexter.
No. They were
Maybe I'm
buddies.
thinking of
It was
someone else.
Dokes, and
Well,
then
I
there
know
was
Ghost
another.
though.
Then there was a few other cops that came along that
Maybe
didn't like
that's what I'm
Dexter.
thinking.
There was a few other ones that came along, and yeah, and he had some issues with. But no, Dexter. Angel Batista over here was usually his friend, but he's trying to get more info. It's like, what type of person
Yeah.
is Jim? Lindsay, which is Dexter, and he's like, oh, he's great. Everybody loved him. And he liked what was it? His cheese melts, right? I think that's what he said.
Tuna.
Like,
He liked
tuna melts. There you
which
go, tuna
really
melts.
seemed to throw Batista off here. He was kind of like, but
We have
then
to remember that. We have to remember that. I have a feeling they brought that up for a reason. So,
yeah, but then he also talks about what happened with his girlfriend and that she shot him, and he seems very surprised on all this. So hey, maybe he just needed to get away, which is kind of what Dexter said he needed to do, and he drove his bike into a hurricane or his boat into a hurricane.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of holes with this whole portion here with Batista and the story that they're trying to clean up for Dexter. Because yes, he gave Dexter his life back in a way, right? He said he reactivated Dexter Morgan. Also, well, what about Jim Lindsay? What about all of that stuff? The guy was working a job on the books. What about all of that? How does that pan out in his life? Is he now writing him off as dead?
Was he working under the table? I mean, did he really have?
Oh yeah, when he worked at that shop,
Now he's a
but
very
he
smart guy. So you think that he would know how to, fake all the Social Security stuff for what he
but
does
all
as it is.
but all right, so in New Blood, Angela, which was a sheriff, she would look people up. If her daughter was hanging out with anybody, she would look them up in the system. So there's no doubt. I mean, look, she found out that Jim was Dexter Morgan and did that whole thing. So she
I didn't
must
see
have.
the season, so
I know you didn't see it, but you would think from what we've heard. Remember the whole thing? They've already presented that she was a sheriff and all that. You would think that she would have looked up this guy that she just started dating to make sure he's on the up and up. He's a new guy from town. He was working in this little rinky-dink shop over here selling weapons and stuff like that for hunting. I don't know. This part is the rocky part of this show. It's not smooth. And I get that what they were trying to do, and I wrote this in the description for the last episode, they're trying to tie the OG fans and the OG story with what happened in New Blood, so that way they can just flatten it out and go forward within Resurrection.
I also, and again, to anyone that says, hey, you guys are really nitpicking this is what happens when you watch a TV show and you kind of break it down. This is what happens.
When you think, because then you think about it. You're really thinking about it. Because the key part of this, besides the tuna melts, is that Batista's leaving. He said, I'm leaving. He said, I'm going home. There's no reason to be here.
He does not want to be by the sheriff either. He's like, I can drop you off. He's like, just leave me alone.
No. So I call BS on that. I think this is BS. I can't see that they just bring him in just for these 2 episodes and then he's off to Miami and they write him off. No, I have a feeling he said this and he's going to go into the city to see if he can go figure out where.
Well, unless if they're setting up another season. I told you, I just finished Justified. I started watching Justified City Primeval, which takes place in Detroit. And at the end of it, sorry, spoiler warning for a show that came out in 2023. At the end of it, Boyd Crowder shows up at the end. And you're like, all right, they set up for at least one more season to wrap up the Boyd Crowder, angle. I feel like this needs to be wrapped up. Like, who Dexter is needs to be wrapped up eventually.
Yeah.
But let's move on because
something's gonna happen. We'll see. But that's the last we see of Batista in this episode. So whatever. But then we go back to Harrison. Now he can't sleep. So we have to assume it says 2:22 on his phone. So I'm assuming that he went back to the hotel. Babysitting time is over. He can't sleep. He texts his buddy Lance, that's the valet for the hotel, and says, "Yeah, I need to go hang out. I need to," because he's having visions. He keeps seeing Ryan everywhere he goes. And we even saw one quick vision of his dad. I think that's what woke him up, right? He saw
No. He saw his dad when he was getting in the car and assumed that it was a vision.
Yeah.
But he does see a vision of his dad, but before he gets in the car, I'm pretty sure he looks over and he sees his dad, but assumes that it's a vision. But that's how he wakes up. But
yeah, he's having a hard time with this.
Did he run over to his dad at the end after he shot him? Or did they not show that?
No. If I remember right, after he shoots him, pretty sure he took off. He left. The last scene I remember, and people go ahead in the comments, if you remember what happened here, but I'm pretty sure after he shot him, he then left. He gets into his truck. He takes Dexter's truck and drives off. And then we see that overhead shot that we just saw. And then later on, they show that just Harrison just in a truck driving off, getting ready to start a new life. Roll credits.
Okay. Yeah. So he dreams. He wakes up, and then Dexter sees his camouflaged Bronco getting towed. He tries to talk the guy out of it, yada yada yada.
Not gonna happen.
And he's like, "You really can't read." Now, I like this because this shows that Dexter is slipping. I normally would have noticed this parking, this sign that clearly states it. But I told you, hey, I once got a ticket in Detroit by parking there, and I just happened to have a cop when I saw the ticket. He said, I don't write tickets. And I was like, can you explain this to me? And he said, I can see why you read it the way you did.
But to his defense, he's from out of town. He doesn't know that like you said with that officer, there's wordplay with these signs to purposely catch him.
Those signs are meant to confuse you. And that's in Detroit. This is New York. Again, New York's a bigger city. It's the same type of BS.
If you're meter maid and you're watching this, go ahead, comment. If this is correct, you're probably going to use an alias account because you don't want to get attacked over it. But come on now, we all know.
Yeah. So then he has speaking ride with the guy. He says, no, you really can't read. He points, no rides. You need to call a ride share. He calls a ride share. Guy shows up, and it is a I would say Jamaican descent.
No, where he said I'm blanking on. Still, I forgot where
Either
he said he's from.
He has an accent.
He has an accent. Yeah.
This is where we find out what's happening to these rideshare drivers. And as
Blessing. We have an image of him too. Blessing. This is one of
we got a lot of it.
We got too many. Yeah.
But we don't have this when he gets in there. But he shows him his phone. He goes, thank you very much for that. So he's showing who he is. Now he knows that, hey, you actually used your real name. Because they must have put two and two together that what's happening to all these rideshare drivers, the person getting in is not who it's supposed to be. Because they would have been able to trace it back, right?
Yeah.
So, this rideshare, he's asking question after question after question. And I don't think you caught it at first. I think that's what you said. I caught it because he says, like, yeah, there have been 7 killings of cab drivers, and they've literally decapitated each and every single one of them. There's only one that survived. He saw the guy's face. And this is where Dexter is like, he's listening, and he doesn't know this because he just got there. This guy's really opening up now.
Oh, he definitely opens up everything to the point that he invites him over for a party that he's having within the next day.
But he says they're calling him the dark passenger, which is what he has glossed himself in his mind. So it's like there's a double whammy. He's like really pissed off at someone took his, because didn't you
I did, and then I didn't get to report it over. We were doing all this stuff, and I was just, even now while we're doing, I'm trying to do it, and it won't let me add it to it because we already started recording.
But yeah, so this is where he's asking all these questions, and Dexter doesn't realize. I think he's kind of aggravated because he doesn't want to spill too much about him, but he's like, my son's here, whatever. But then he tells them, hey, there's been 7 killings. Only 1 person survived. So there's been at least 8 of these attacks. 7 people have been murdered, and they've been decapitated, which is what we saw.
Yeah.
Right. So this is now, to me, I went, this is the reason why he's asking all these questions. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And perfect. I mean, out of all the shared drivers to have him pick up, here it is. We find out that his good friend is the only person that has survived from the dark passenger.
It's a coinkydink, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. I was like, whoa. Didn't we get lucky here? Come to the city.
That said, they are kind of saying, like, Dexter's even like, wow, this is complete coincidence. Here's a guy, he's using, my my term for me, and he does make a comment about how he should have trademarked it.
Yeah, he should have trademarked. Didn't think he had to.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it goes back to Die Hard 2, where you're like, oh my god, it happens. Now it just happens in an airport, right? How many times have we seen sequels do it? But what made like Die Hard really cool was like, he's like, I cannot believe this is happening again the exact same way. This is kind of what they're doing here, in my opinion. At least that's what I'm kind of gathering.
Well, this is also progressing the story. They're trying to connect this, and how else do you do it? And I guess this makes sense. This makes sense in a way that it's like, all right, we got this serial killer in town. Okay, we get that. He's using the dark passenger's name, and that's a trigger for Dexter, because as we know, that was what he called his inner dark thoughts to do all these things. He was like, my dark passenger, and he's upset, and he's like, you know what? I want to catch this guy. I want to stop him. This is what I do, right? Back in Miami.
He gets kind of triggered that he's being called, that this guy's using his gloss, but in actuality, Dexter's actual nickname is the Bay Harbor Butcher, right? I mean, that's actually what it is.
Well, he was, yeah. I mean, that was who was killing them. They kept saying it was just the Bay Harbor Butcher because they were finding body parts.
So this rideshare guy, he's just, hey, you don't have many friends. Why don't you come over? And then Dexter's just asking about, driving. And he was like, you can't drive in that thing. And
yeah, he sees his truck. He was like, you need a real car. Not gonna.
Listen, I have friends that I've known forever that if they were like, hey, can I come over? I'd be like, nah, it's okay.
But that's what I was saying before.
You can see me on YouTube. All right. You can see me on YouTube. How about that?
I've seen this, and I've done some of this in my own life, but not to this extent. But usually it's a church type of situation, or a friend of a friend, and it's like, hey, someone needs help, this and that. You meet them, it's like, oh, you know what, you're being vouched for by someone else. Yeah. But this is like, this is late night. You pick up some guy who's from out of town who said he's here to fix a situation with his son.
As you know, there's a serial killer on the loose.
Yeah, it's a serial killer on the loose. You should recognize that this guy's very excited. You're telling him all these horrible things, but your passenger now is very excited to the point he wants this type of job. Okay, what? But and you see the truck, because he was dropping off Dexter over at the towing place to go pick up his truck, and he sees that truck. Come on now. You see a big Bronco like that. It's like, wait, whoa. And he jokes about it though. He's like, oh, you can't pick people up in this. I was like, yeah, but you should ask more questions.
What would that be? Like, what would that be, like Uber Yellow?
I mean, it's one of the other tiers. Yes, now there's different tiers for various types of cars that you want, but he straight up tells them, no, you can't do it. And he even said though that there are some of his buddies that are drivers are taking time off because of all this, and letting things cool down. And this is when I thought that Dexter was going to then lean over and say, well, how about you take some time off and I do the driving for you? Maybe it's too soon. He just picked the guy up like a half hour ago, but hey, you already invited him to your home to meet your family. So why stop there?
You outsource your job to me right now.
Exactly.
Anyway, so he basically tells him, and he says, I'm thinking about coming. But this is where we switch back to Charlie and another guy who's trying to take money out of the ATM. And then Charlie's like right there, and she's like, your accounts have been frozen. Now, if you in case you're tuning in right now, Charlie is Charlize Theron. No, Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman. Kill Bill.
Yeah. And she was seen in last episode breaking into an apartment and going up into the rafters and taking something. Now we see her again, and basically she tells him, hey, you know what, your accounts have been frozen, you're locked out now. Now this is and we talked about this, they're in Michigan right now. So everything else taking place in New York, she's in Michigan. That's where this guy is. And he basically says, well, tell your boss, no, you're out, you're done. And then he threatens them by saying, well, what if I tell people about you? Now she's carrying this bat that she took that has like nails or blades and
yeah, she borrowed it from Negan from The Walking Dead.
That was the first thing that I thought.
Right, this is her Lucille. I mean, do you really start making threats like that when someone is standing there with a weapon like that?
But that was his weapon.
Yeah, but hey, no.
And I think that he just thought she was putting like, I'm taking this from you, and then that's when he says, hey, what if I go to them?
Yeah, no.
And then she says, I doubt you'll do that. You're a serial killer. So as soon as she said that, that's when I said, okay, I have a feeling that this dark passenger is part of a serial network, and there's one guy that's in charge that knows all about him. But when they step out of line, she's the one that gets sent in. So
all right, so let me wait real quick. Let me just sprinkle this in. People, if you have that theory, please comment below if you think that this dark passenger is linked to the Uma Thurman and all that. And then if you made it this far, please click the like, subscribe. We'll keep talking. Remember, we're covering this whole season. You see our format and how we're doing it. If there's something you're interested, there you go. But go ahead. All
right. So, she ends up killing him. Now, again, they're in Michigan, which is neat because they're in New York, where you're from. Yeah. The one lady was from Iowa, which you live now. Yeah. Now they're in Michigan. So they're hitting all the, they're like,
this show is following us, man. Yes. This show is following us. We got the triangle.
Yep.
This is it.
So she kills him, and that's kind of like the last that we see of her. So my theory is that whoever her boss is, there's a network of serial killers that he's overseeing for whatever reason. Now, I'm not going to try and speculate what that is. She's the one that when they get out of line, which seems kind of weird, she goes and takes care of them, or just says, you're done, right?
So are you putting this? Oh, wow, I just realized we got two connections going on here. We have a John Wick type of connection, the League of Assassins and all that stuff, right? And then even with the Kill Bill, remember when she was getting out, they were going after her. Right? They were hunting her down. I forgot the name. I'm blanking, but
she also woke up out of a coma also.
Yes, and woke up out of a coma. Oh, boy.
And couldn't walk.
She couldn't. Oh, look at this.
And I can tell you this. My brother-in-law who passed away before I met him, he was in a coma for, I think, 2 weeks. And anytime that he would watch the Steven Seagal movie where he wakes up out of a coma, gets up and starts fighting, he's like, he was in a coma for like 6 months. And he's like, I was in a coma for 2 weeks and I had lost all feel. I could not walk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and in the first episode, even the nurse I was doing the PT with Dexter, he was like, he was having trouble walking. He said, how long it's going to take to recover? It's like, it takes weeks, months, who knows? But clearly he's exactly, they dropped it real quick. He's perfect now. And
it comes into play now. Of course, they've ignored it the whole time until it has to work into
into the story.
But I'm just thinking that there's going to be some sort of network. Then she's the one who has to go ahead, and now she's going to be sent to New York. Because I didn't get the feeling like she was going to kill him till he basically threatened them.
That's true. I didn't think that because he sort of followed her out.
Yes, because she basically just said, hey, your accounts are frozen. You're done. And then he followed her.
Yeah. So he was asking for it. He was asking for it. All right. So what else we got over here? We see another little quick scene with Harrison. He's still getting more flashbacks hanging out with his buddy. Things aren't going well.
We actually had the bat.
Right, there we go.
So we did have the bat right there. And again, this was the guy right here.
Keith. I think that was his name.
Yeah, he doesn't last very long.
No, doesn't matter. Out of sight, out of mind, and out of the job. You know, it's all done for him. But man, I'm really surprised by the whole connection with the story wise with Kill Bill, with Uma
Yeah.
Thurman, with the whole thing of being in a coma, and with the assassins and taking them out, and this guy being fired, but she found his collectibles, his little trinkets from his kills. It's but she didn't take them, right? She left those. If I remember right, she
I
found it
don't.
in the ceiling, but I don't think she took those. She just wanted. She took pictures
Um,
of it. I saw her take pictures. Remember?
I know
So
she went through it. I'm trying to think if she. I don't remember if she took it either.
yeah. Oh well. If you remember that, people go ahead, leave that in the comments, because I'm just trying to figure out if
I
that
felt
was
like she took the bat, right? Like, was that?
she took something, but I could have swore she took her phone out and just took pictures of it, like blackmail type of thing. Like,
Well,
all right, I
she
found it.
does like turn the bat though. Like, it looks like she turned something before she hits him. I don't
Yeah.
know. Anyway,
It doesn't matter.
he's,
But
he ain't coming back. We'll just say that.
that's it. Party's over for him. There we go.
So next thing we know is Morgan. Why do I keep calling him Morgan?
Because
Dexter.
you're very proper. That's why,
Yeah.
Mr. Morgan.
Dexter is at Blessings. This is Blessing for this party. And the only reason why Dexter wants to go is so he can talk to the one guy that survived.
Cheeky. I think that's what I.
More than anything, he saw his face, right?
Mm-hmm.
And since he saw his face, that's the whole reason why he wants to talk to him. And even
Well, not even that though. It's and I don't think he knew this at the time. He had a dash cam that recorded the whole thing.
That's later on because
Yeah.
because they said he's the only one that's seen him, right? And I would assume a lot of these Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, they probably have dash cams. It's very smart, right? I think I would invest in doing something like that. And they're sitting there and he's asking, and then the guy shows them the video. And this is when, like they said, but you can't see his face. And one of the wives explains what it is, and that there's some sort
That
of
was the daughter, Joy.
Was the daughter?
Blessings, daughter Joy, and she's there with her husband, and she was like, "Oh yeah, that's the camera shy. That's what they call the hoods that you put on."
Yeah,
and explains how, because you just see white. That's it. You just see like this bright light behind him.
Yep. And so again, this now goes back to camera shy, right? He's hiding himself from the camera. So, but he's walking around in a hoodie. Now, this is where Dexter actually makes it funny, right? Where he makes a comment about he said, "What does he look like?" He goes, "Well, kind of about your build, your height." Kind of, and I said, like, he kind of did. I did at first kind of think it was Dexter that got in that car, and then he goes, but he wears a hoodie. And he goes, "Well, I don't wear hoodies."
Like,
and again, what? Dexter doesn't have funny lines really. And you and I both laughed about that.
Yeah, it was definitely funny. It was definitely oh boy. But it's interesting that he has all this information though. This is great. And he says, "Hey, did you tell the police?" This is a lot. But the guy's in between documents and things aren't going in that direction. So he decided to keep it on the low. But man, this is very useful information, because he tells him, what's it, Bridgeport Network or Bridge Network? I think that's what it was called.
Yeah,
like that was the office building or the company that he picked them up at.
Yep.
And it sounds like from the research that Dexter later puts two to crew together, that a lot of these murders are taking place around that location. So clearly the killer that's where he's at. That's his hunting ground.
I feel like there was a lot of stuff there that was thrown in that not fully explained. But I also, I mean, again,
they're just trying to get to it. I mean, hell, if we want to go there, what follows in this scene here is still a little baffling to us, and I'm sure many of the viewers out there and listeners and viewers of this show, I'm sure you're going to put in a comment like, yeah, that would never happen. Because then they say, "Hey, where are you staying?" "Oh, I'm just staying in a motel." "Oh no, you're my new bestie. You can't stay in a motel. My daughter here has moved out. I have an apartment that I could rent you." Yeah, really? Just like that? You just gonna offer this guy?
Okay. When I felt the same way at first until he showed the apartment, and then realized the apartment is downstairs, not connected. It's not like
It's got its own door. Yeah, it's one
it's
of
not
those
as,
brownstones, and it has its own
but he is
sub
also
level.
like, hey, there's always food upstairs. Like,
Yeah, and you could hear them, and the first thing, it's funny because the first thing I said, I was like, "Oh, I'm thinking, oh, this is a good kill room," and then you're like, "Oh, look, kill room," and then Dexter points out, "I was like, oh wow, kill room with a
yeah,
kill table," and he's like, "Oh, I love the table." It's like, "No, my daughter, she does acupuncture," and we were waiting for Dexter to say, "I sort of do that too,"
yeah,
It's like, but she's gonna take the table.
yeah. So he basically said, hey, you know what? I can live. I can move in here. Now, one of the very interesting things about it is that the wife is like, hey, normally, it's first and last month's rent, which it quickly says, okay, that's no problem. But that's when they walk out, he's like, see my new car? Like, all right. And he went down to the DMV, which I'm kind of called BS. He went down to the DMV, got his license. No, they send it to you,
It
and it takes
takes
anywhere
time.
from 2 to 6 weeks to get it. He'd have a paper license. Not to mention, you don't go into the DMV, right? We all have to sit there and wait. So
Lawrence, we have a name for this. We brought this up the first time we covered a show together, and we call this Reacher time, TV time. Remember the whole Reacher going to California and
Reacher has a
back
lot of
within like 2 hours, still within the same day, daylight. I mean, come on, it's the same thing. They had to condense, had to close it up because there's no way. Like you said, I mean, everybody knows this is not a 1-2 thing. This is a multi-week process for all of this. I mean, where is he even getting the money? Like, that's the thing. Yes, we know Batista activated everything. Does this activate his pension from when he was with the police? That
you don't know
requires
how he was
filling.
spending his money. Like I mean, all he had to do was close out his accounts, and he's got.
And unless I mean, there's quick fixes. I'm sure people will be like, "Oh, again with the nitpick." No, there's quick fixes for this. It could just say that he had money that he put in a special account offshore, whatever, and that's where he would access it.
And maybe
That's
when
it.
he was killing, he was taking their money. I mean, I don't know if that was
Well,
ever.
no, that was then. No, he was never like that. But
That's what.
it
I
would have.
don't remember.
Yeah, it would have been good. It would have been good if he just said, "Good thing I have that offshore account, for times like this." That's all we need. Because instantly, especially as someone from New York, things are expensive. When they start saying first month, last month, and security, okay, that's 3. How much? We don't know what borough they're in, but I want to say for that apartment basement, we're looking maybe 2,000 a month. Okay, so what, 6,000 he has to have up front? Not to mention he has to go get whatever.
Yeah,
We'll see.
furnished, yeah.
Whatever. That's just us thinking, with
Overthinking it. And
we
again, we
over.
don't hate the show. I know we're
No,
nitpicking.
no. Yeah.
But,
Don't hate it,
um,
but we just got some issues with this.
but so then we have,
All right, well, which one?
what's Harrison's walking, and he looks very suspicious, and the police want to talk to him.
Yeah. Well, his boss tells him. It was like, the police want to talk to you. No surprise.
Well, they also noticed him too, that he's just like,
Yeah.
and
Because I think we didn't bring it up, but it was during the part back with the detectives with the hotel manager when they were looking at the security cameras, and they were peeking through, and they're like, "Oh, what's with the blind spots?" I was like, "Well, we like to give some of our customers privacy and this and that." But then they do see Shauna from Iowa. Shout out to Shauna, and she's stumbling and stuff, and they're like, "Okay." And then they see, I think there was a scene, one of the frames where we see with Ryan, right? I think he was with her in one of the cameras. But anyway, right? So they're like, all right, well, we need to talk to her. We have to find her. I mean, that's going to be the next step. But obviously,
also during that was when the reports come back that because she wanted all the bathrooms cleaned, and he was like, you're testing that they do their job, and she's like, there still should be some sort of fluids. And it comes back that every single room except for that one has some sort of fluids. It's not that clean.
Yeah. So clearly, whoever did the cleaning has done this before or is familiar with the process.
Yeah.
So they're dealing with somebody familiar with how to clean up a room that's a kill room.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Now, Dexter is watching, and he follows someone, finds out it's a woman. He continues to watch, and then he sees another guy come out, and he puts the hood up, and he knows right away.
Yep.
Now
And this is over at the building. Yeah, the Bridgeport network or whatever.
Now I was a little confused at first, and then it made sense. You see him start kind of running up, and he runs past the serial killer. And he raises it up and he takes a picture of whatever. And then when he turns around, he can see that you can't see the guy's face. And so he takes a couple pictures. I thought it was real smart. Him running
Very
up there,
smart.
He needs to take a picture. He's not following him. Now he's ahead of him. Takes a picture. So the camera's up. So it's not like, hey, why do you have your camera up? You just took a picture of something. As you're turning, you still have it up.
Yep.
Brilliant writing on that, because you don't go, wait a minute, this guy's chasing after him, right? And then he goes to get in the cat or the ride share, and Dexter says, hey, don't take my cat, or don't take my ride share, whatever it's called. And the guy just kind of walks away.
And he says, okay. And right there, that's a giveaway.
Yes.
Because he could have put up an arm, like, no, and show the app. You know, I would think that's what those type of things would happen. It's like, look, I ordered this. This is my cap. Here's a description. But no, he just says, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. And then he just walks off.
Well, I thought that giveaway was when he showed when he scanned him, took a picture of him, that you couldn't see his face.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we know that. But it's the fact that well, we'll say, what was it? Ron Schmidt, right? Or Ronald Schmidt. I still think that's a fake name. Dexter kept looking him up online and was like, oh, maybe it's Ronald.
Only 2 Ron Schmidts in New York.
Yeah, he's doing the whole thing. I was like, why would you even think this is real? I would automatically assume that it's an alias. It's not his name.
But you have to look into it.
Yeah, he looks into it.
Think it is, you still have to look into it.
He still looks into it, but it works out. It pans out for him. But yeah, the guy walks off, and of course, Dexter's not going to take the ride, but he saved this guy's life.
Yeah, and this is where you hear his dad talking to him, and he's like, he's like, "Why?"
We're getting there.
Yeah, he's asking, "Why did you do that? You've never done something like that before. You've never just saved a life."
Yeah, because he goes following the guy. He gets to the subway station. Train comes in. Shout out to the intro of our show here. We hear we hear the ding of the door. Ding, ding. We didn't get the stand clear.
Made you watch it like 3 times and you didn't.
I didn't understand, because I thought because as Dexter's going down the stairs, someone bumps into him, and we see him he's hurt.
But you also, those sounds. I've never heard that sound.
Yeah, you didn't know the
subway. So I can see why you just like, what are you talking about? I'm like, the beginning of our show.
Oh, I just thought you were pointing out that the injuries are still there, lingering from the coma, and that's why he was like, oh, because you could see it wasn't like, oh, he just bumped shoulders with a guy. Yeah, he was like in pain. And it's like, oh yeah, so what is he gonna do? Confront the guy? He can't fight. He's all beat up still. He just came out of a 10-week coma. If anything, his muscles, everything would be all mush. A lot of rehab is needed.
But this is where we actually see the guy's face. I know Dexter knows what he looks like. But this kind of when he talks with his dad, and his dad's just like, why did you do that? Like, you've never went to save, like, he has this goal to kill these serial killers, but he never was broken up about them killing someone else, right? No. And I think this is his arc, right? Like, he's starting to care because of his son, Harrison. Yeah. And that's how it ends.
Yeah, that's how it ends. But you know what? He does care. He's cared about other people, trying to save them. That was always a thing also, trying to get people out of harm's way. But it's usually because of stuff that he has triggered, whether he's chasing someone down, and look, we talked about before, Rita dying.
Yeah.
So.
But I liked the episode, and I thought it was really good. It really built up what's going to happen in this season or this show.
It's very short. I'm surprised that they did the 2-episode drop. I know it's common now.
Only 6 episodes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like with Reacher, that was a big kicker because it was 8 episodes, right? And 3 dropped the first day. I was like, why? Why not just spread this out? All right, 2, but 3. It's a short season. These are shorts, and then especially this, unless they're trying to just get it done within the summer months. They're like,
they have to film.
Yeah, and they're like, we don't want this to cross over into another show that's coming, and
Yep.
let's just get this out. But hey, overall, our thoughts are, this is a recap and review. The review is, I like it, right? This is good. Got some. Hmm?
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, we both agree we had some issues of how they're trying to clean things up with Batista and with the Iron Lake. That whole thing is real cloudy. But when it comes to where we are now, with New York, with the serial killer going after the share riders, the cabbie drivers, okay, that's interesting to see how that's going to pan out. We got the super detective who is trying to close in on who killed Ryan. That's going to play a part with Harrison. The question now, do you think Dexter and Harrison are going to reunite in this season or right at the end? A part of me thinks that we might not see it until the very end.
We're already two episodes into it and haven't seen it. There's only 4 episodes, so how many episodes?
Yeah.
I can see this because as of right now, Dexter he came there to help clean up Harrison's mess, make sure it's good, but now he's found another reason to continue doing what he's doing.
Because remember, he told Harry he doesn't really want to interact. He thinks that's going to mess him up. So he just wants to
here.
Yeah, you're already here. But he was like, oh, I want to help out. I want to clean things up for him. That's what he's trying to do. Just like be a background guy. It's like, oh, I'll fix things up. I'll pick him up if he falls down and cover my face type of deal. But how long can you do that? But this, I think, also they planted the seed that this is it. Like, he's staying in New York because when he agrees to take the apartment, Dexter, and he tells Harry, he's like, am I really doing this? Am I moving to New York? That statement right there is like, oh, this is long term. You're saying it's not like, oh,
he's
I'm here.
taking a rideshare job. He's
right.
He's renting an apartment.
He's gonna date a girl named Gina. She's out in the South Bronx. Everything's gonna be smooth sailing.
He has a New York license, so yeah.
Go to Great Papayas for hot dogs and pina colada shakes. All right, but either way, I like it. I like where they're going with this. It feels comforting. That sounds weird to say, but I was always a fan of Dexter, OG Dexter. New Blood, it was great to see Dexter back, but the location, small town, we have the other one that just came out, Original Sin, which is the prequel type show.
Yeah.
That's great to see them all young. It has that very young Scooby-Doo type feel because all the cast members that we know are there, but there's even a young Batista there with a wife beater on and a fedora and a gold chain, and it's all young. I'm like, I can't buy that they've been there their entire life working for Miami PD, but whatever. I give it a pass. It's still fun to see all that. The actress that plays young Deb is fantastic. Oh, she's fantastic.
I've been at my job for 24 years, and when I came in, I still at times think I'm the young guy because.
And your hair was longer than mine. I saw those pictures when you got in there. Yeah, you were.
No, not when I got in there, but later on. My boss, the delivery guy, they've been there longer. Obviously, the owner. So there are people that's the other.
That's true. Long. You're right. But if you watch that, you'll crack up because it's like everybody is there.
Playing devil's advocate. So
yeah, but either way.
We like it for this episode.
Yeah, we like it. Hopefully you guys like it, and hopefully you guys appreciate this coverage. Again, if you made it this far, thank you. This is fantastic. If you
made it the longest episode yet, I think.
Yeah, long episode.
15 minutes.
I mean, I mentioned that this is a recap. I wonder if I should just put full breakdown. I'm not sure of the wording, but I think people understand when you see recap and review. A recap is covering the whole thing. I hope they understand that.
Full breakdown. Because we're not just we're not doing a 15-minute like, hey, this happens. Like, we've seen those. We've gone longer than the episode.
You're right.
There's a lot of BS from us too, but that's why you tune in.
So you know what? Maybe that's it. You'll probably see this posted up there, and I'll probably label it as full breakdown and review. But we will be back for episode 3 again Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern. 1 a.m. My bad. 1 a.m. Eastern. You'll see this pop up on your feed if you're if you subbed over or you followed on other platforms. But there you go. Thanks again, everybody, for sticking with us. And with all the other shows, as we mentioned, after this, we already have another line. We have Chief of War. That's Jason Momoa, the Apple TV show. That should be interesting. A lot of fighting in that one. That's going to be good. And then season 5 of Slow Horses. That great spy show. Again, that's an Apple one, but man, it just so happens. Okay, it's not like we got a partnership or anything, but it's just a lot of these really good shows, and we're looking forward to it. But again, hey, thanks everybody. Peace.
Thank you. See you guys later.